Hello friends, my name is Rahul and I am from Access Manager development team. In this video we'll see how to install Access Manager on an Ubuntu server along with FreeRadius and MySQL and make them all work together. And for that I have installed a fresh Ubuntu server 12.04 LTS on a test machine which is available on 192.168.1.100. So as you can see, that machine is reachable from here. I can log into that via SSH and do the installation. But if you are on a Windows machine, you can also use some other SSH client utilities like Putty to log into your remote machine, or you can just sit in front of your machine and do this directly on the terminal on that machine. So I'll just log into that. Rahul at 192.168.1.100 and my password. Yep. So before we make any of the installations, I would like to mention that Access Manager requires at least PHP 5.4. So the thing is that Ubuntu 12.04 comes with 5.3 PHP initially, and to add PHP 5.4 we can manually compile and install the package, but that will be awful. And to make things easier, we can simply add PPA, and that will add a new repository to this index of my Ubuntu server, and we can simply then use apt-get to install like we used to with any other packages. So first of all we need to install Python software properties so that we can add a new repository. So to do that, sudo apt-get install Python software properties, password. Need to get 97 KB, and after this operation 657 KB additional disk space will be used. I'm okay with that. Okay, that's done. So after we have installed Python software properties, we can add additional repositories through add PPA command. Right, sudo add apt repository PPA onrich/php file old stable. This enter. This repository is to install PHP 5.4. So after adding this repository, we need to simply update the index, sudo apt-get update, before we install anything. Now we are ready to install our required packages. Access Manager, as you may already know, is a web-based application which works as a GUI for FreeRadius and MySQL setup. So it requires several packages to run, like a web server, Apache, and a PHP package and MySQL database server. So let's install all of them all together. Sudo apt-get install Apache 2, PHP 5, PHP 5 CLI, PHP 5 curl, PHP 5 MySQL, MySQL server, and MySQL client. I guess that's it. Apache 2, PHP 5, PHP 5 CLI, curl, MySQL, and client. Okay, fine. This needs to get 35 MB and 123 MB of additional disk space will be used. I'm okay with that. It will take a few minutes depending on the speed of your internet connection So during this installation, when it installs MySQL server, it will ask you to set a password for root user on MySQL server. You can set anything, but make a note of it, as we will require this a few minutes later. See, here it is. I'll here simply put 1 2 3 4 5 6 for sake of simplicity in this tutorial. 1 2 3 4 5 6. This should all go smooth because there is nothing special. These are all basic packages required and available and commonly used, so there should not be any issue. So the installation is complete. Before we download and install Access Manager, we need to make a few configuration changes, like we need to enable rewrite mode on Apache. So to do that, we need issue following command: sudo a2 and mode rewrite, and mode stands for enable module. Okay, the module is enabled. The another thing we need to do is enable htaccess support. So what we'll do for that is we'll just move to etc Apache. For that we need to edit virtual host configuration. In this tutorial we'll be using the default virtual host that have been created during the installation, so we need to edit that configuration only. Sites available. Here you see this default, so we'll need to edit sudo vim default. Here is the directory block with var/www. Within this block you can point out this line saying allow override none. Press I to get into the edit mode. We'll simply change allow override none to allow override file info, so that it works with the .htaccess files that are put into the folders itself. Save and exit. Now we will restart the Apache service for the changes to take effect. Okay, we are done with that. Now another thing I like to mention, that Access Manager source code is closed. I mean, it's encrypted, it's encoded using IonCube encoder, and to run the encoded code we need to install IonCube loaders on this machine. So for that we'll go to user lib php file and download the package from IonCube website only, using wget sudo wget http://downloads3.ioncube.com/loader downloads/IonCube loaders lin for Linux _x86-64. This is a 64-bit machine, so we'll use 64-bit drivers only, loaders only, I'm sorry. .tr.gzip. This will simply download this file from the IonCube website to this computer only. This is a zip file. Compressed file. As you can see, here's the IonCube loader file. We simply need to extract it. Sudo tar exit-vf IonCube. Enter. And that's it. As you can see, there is a folder named IonCube which will contain all the files. You can check that here only. See, this provides with all the loaders for different versions of PHP from 4.1 onwards up to 5.5. Since we have installed 5.4 on this computer, we'll need that file only. If you want, you can remove all of the other files and keep this 5.4.so only, but we can leave it. It hardly matters. It's just a matter of few KBs. So we have just downloaded them. Now we need to enable these modules in Apache configuration. For that, go to etc php file apache 2 conf.d. You'll see a few modules already available here, including PDO, CURL, MySQLi, and stuff like that. We will create a new file, sudo vim 04. These numbers stands for priority only. IonCube.ini. In this file, we'll simply put a single line zint extension is equal to and path to a file, which is /user /lib /php5 /IonCube /IonCube loader len 5.4.so. This is the version. This is the file we need. Simply escape, save, and quit. Okay, now we need to check if this file have already been created, and CLI. So this file have automatically been created in this folder as well. If it doesn't exist, please create one with this same content. Now sudo service apache 2 restart for this module to be loaded. Okay, now we are done with the configuration. Now I'll create a database to be used with our application. Log into MySQL -u. User is root by default. We have not created any new users, and P stands for password, and password would be 1 2 3 4 5 6. You might remember that we chose during the MySQL server installation. After successful login, we get to the MySQL prompt and type a create database AC manager. You can name it anything as per your preferences. Okay, query okay, one row affected. Database created successfully. Now simply quit out of it. Bye bye MySQL. Okay, now we have set up all and everything required for the access manager. Now we'll move to a public web root, which is available at var www. Here you see only index.html file, which is default installed by installer. Here we can create a new folder, mkdir access manager, in which we'll download our access manager project. Oh, permission denied. Don't forget the sudo thing. see access manager folder have been created. Now get into that, cd access manager. This is an ampli folder. Now what we'll do is we'll use wget again to download the access manager archive into it. Sudo wget http://access manager.in/download/access manager v1.tar.gz. Sorry. Oops, spelling mistake. Here it is. Now we'll extract it like we did with the IonCube loaders. tar xvf extracted. Fantastic. Now we have downloaded this access manager into our computer. Now we simply need to run a single command. Access manager provides CLI utilities for ease. Index.php system reset. What this will do is this will connect to your database and create all the required tables. You don't need to create any of them manually, and populate it with the default values, and will also ask you to set admin username and password so that you can log into your admin panel. So we'll simply run php index.php system reset. Oops. Require IonCube loader. I have installed that, I guess. Sudo service Apache to restart. Let me check. I just installed that. Let's cross check it. etc Apache 2. I'm sorry, PHP 5. IonCube is there. User lib php 5 IonCube loader len 5.4 so. User lib php 5. Let me open another terminal. User lib php 5 IonCube loader len _5.4.so. The path is correct, so what the heck. IonCube loader len 5.4. Oops, I made silly spelling mistake again. I need to log in. Edit with sudo. Its extension. Let's check it again. We are access manager. Now if we run index.php system reset, yes, that was a mistake. Okay, now it presents you with the configuration file. Actually we have one configuration file for access manager that consists of base URL, the URL or IP address we used to access this panel. So we can modify this either manually or by this interactive process or shell, whatever you call it. So it says the current config file looks like this. Press Y to modify. Obviously this is the very first time I want to modify it. Yes. Base URL. The base URL will be the IP address of your computer. If you're using a domain name for that, you can put your domain name here. But in this tutorial we will not be including DNS and all those things, so we'll simply put the IP address 192.168.1.100/access manager, which is the full path to this application. Enter. Host name for database, which is localhost. We have installed MySQL on this computer only, but if you install it on some other computer, you can use that IP address or DNS name of that computer. But in this case this is localhost only. This is by default, so we can simply press enter. Username for the database, which in this case is root, and password is 123456. Database name, we named it AC manager only. If you named it something else while we created the database, you can put that here. Okay fine. This have created all the required tables and populated the default records. Now here you can choose a username and password to log into your admin panel. You can simply choose admin, and the password for 123. First name, my name is Rahul Makhija. Okay, that's it. Now you can log in. There's an issue with that. It says you can log in on accessmanager.in, but it should say that 192.168. Our base URL. Anyways, we'll log into that. 192.168.1.100/access manager. Oops, forbidden. Permission issue here. chmod -r755 access manager. See, you see this forbidden error when the web server users do not have sufficient permission to access these files. So this command chmod will apply the 755, which includes execution permission on this folder recursively, and including this folder and its subfolders and files and all of them. Oh my, sudo. Okay, that's it. Now it should work. Oh yes, this is the client login. We have not created any clients yet, so we cannot log in here. We can simply log into our admin panel. The username password we choose the system reset 123, and here you go. Okay guys, in this video we'll keep it here only, and next video we'll see how to install FreeRadius and configure it with our existing database we have just created. Okay, thanks for now.